architecture, whatever.
The 2 honorary degrees,
City plan.
and then Masters of Architecture, Masters of City Planning, Master of Interior Design, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Education.
Want to give one honorary one in each category?
No,
No.
it's just 2 honorary degrees we present. Bachelor of Environmental Design, Bachelor of Education, and a couple of other things.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Probably shouldn't video Canada.
Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, the highest honor the Senate of a university can confer upon an individual is an honorary doctorate. At the University of Manitoba, the criteria include distinguished achievement in scholarship, the arts, or public service. Our honorary graduate this morning is STRINI Reddy. STRINI Reddy is a teacher and a fighter. Throughout his 42-year career as an educator, working in 5 countries, he earned a well-deserved reputation for fighting tirelessly for social justice and peace by combating racism and its consequences. Today, this friendly rebel and champion of those less able to fight for themselves is being honored by his alma mater. We also welcome members of his family who are joining us in this celebration, and we thank you for being here, and friends as well. And I'd just like to say at this time that Strini's partner Amelia is unable to be here this morning as she's convalescing from a heart operation. So please keep her in mind as we go through this, as Strini will. Mr. Reddy began teaching in 1956 in South Africa's Natal province, where he also met and married his lifetime partner and ally, Amelia, and their first child, Vijay, was born. In 1962, they moved to southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, where their second child, KUMARAN, was born. And he taught for 2 years before he became the assistant principal and chief examiner at a boarding school in Zambia. They later moved to London, England, where their third child, Nalini, was born, and Strini taught for 1 year before arriving in Nepal, Manitoba, where he was a teacher and administrator, as well as the coordinator of Brandon University's Northern Teacher Education Program. In 1975, he graduated from the University of Manitoba with a Bachelor of Education. After earning his master's in 1979, he became a consultant for English as a second language with Manitoba Education, working mainly in northern Aboriginal communities. He then went on to work in Frontier School Division, where in 1985 he became the first ever chief superintendent. In 1992 he taught at Brandon University, and in 1993 he took the post of executive director of the Manitoba Association of School Superintendents. Through all these years, wherever he went, he was a strong community leader and builder. And he continues to work with community organizations and to improve education and combat child poverty. For 10 years, ending last year, he worked with Healthy Child Manitoba to develop the local parent-child committees now found in every part of Manitoba. Until the program ended last year, he was the Manitoba coordinator for Project Love, which, with the help of Manitoba school children, annually sent upwards of 15,000 kits of basic school supplies to students in the most poverty-stricken countries in Africa. He is long-standing chair of the South Africa Education Support Committee, which conducts annual fundraising activities in support of AIDS, orphans, and vulnerable children in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal. He is also a co-founder of the Summer Learning Enrichment Program for Winnipeg's inner city children. This free program operates 5 days a week for 5 weeks during the summer months, providing food, cultural enrichment, and education to children. Mr. Reddy is past chairman of the Boys and Girls Club of Winnipeg, where he continues to serve as a volunteer. And from 2004 to 2007, he was a member of the University of Manitoba's Board of Governors. His contributions to education and social justice have earned him awards from the Canadian Council for Multicultural and Intercultural Education, the Canadian Association of School Administrators, TESOL Manitoba, the University of Manitoba. In 2000, Mr. Reddy was named a member of the Order of Manitoba. Mr. Reddy is a visionary educator. He sees past obstructions to focus instead on possibilities and opportunities. His passion and integrity inspire others to improve the lives of children and their families in Manitoba, Canada, and Africa. For over 40 years, he has guided and influenced generations of young people, education leaders, and social justice advocates. He is a champion of social justice, racial understanding, literacy, and poverty reduction, and he has not stopped working. The University of Manitoba is proud to award its distinguished alumnus, Ms. STRINI Reddy, with an Honorary Doctor of Laws. And you can expect, if you do something noteworthy in the next couple of months or years or weeks or days, that you will get a call from Dr. Reddy congratulating you and urging you on and thinking about other ways you might help. Mr. Chancellor, it is an honor for me to ask on behalf of the Senate of the University of Manitoba that you confer upon STRINI Reddy the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Reddy.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a distinct pleasure for me to be with you on this beautiful morning. When I looked out of the window this morning to greet the beautiful day, my mind went back to an ancient Sanskrit poem which is called the Salutation of the Dawn. And it says, "Listen to the exhortation of the dawn. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Such is the salutation of the dawn." I accept this honor today in the name of the countless people who give so selflessly of their time and energy in an effort to create a more just, equitable, and compassionate society and world, respectful and mindful of the needs of our fellow human beings who are in need of a helping hand and a helping heart. These are the people who are worthy of the descriptors to which this university, my alma mater, urges you to strive. Pioneer, creator, defender, trailblazer, challenger, visionary, innovator, adventurer, rebel. In yesterday's Free Press, I saw the convocation announcement. I was especially impressed by the words beside the picture representing you, the graduating students. It read, "I am a trailblazer. My convocation today from the University of Manitoba means that I am ready to explore, to blaze a trail, to take the next step for myself and for my community. This is an important reminder that we are, each of us, responsible for the well-being of ourselves as well as for that of the community or communities to which we belong." In his book titled On Equilibrium, John Ralston Saul asks, "How should I live given the context of the larger good?" And he goes on to say, "The larger good assumes the existence of the other, of the family, of the community. This is a belief that is as old as humankind. There is an ancient African word that has become well known around the world. It is one that is used by people like Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. The word is Ubuntu. It means humanity to others. It also means I am what I am because of who we all are. In recent years, I've been encouraged by the efforts of my university to promote a spirit of community as well as responsibility for the greater good. On this campus, there exist numerous examples of the generosity of spirit of students, of staff, of faculty, and administration. It is to the credit of this university that a couple of years ago they instituted what was called the co-curricular record, which means that they formally acknowledge the many contributions in social service that our students at this university contribute each year. I was a very privileged member of the university team that attended WE Day last fall, and I was delighted to listen to Tito Daudu, who is graduating from the Faculty of Medicine here this year, speak about how she found out about challenges where children in her home country of Nigeria were subject to a high incidence of pneumonia. And rather than do her work, her practicum, her research here, she struggled to make sure that she had to go down and join researchers in her home country. She spoke about this to a wildly enthusiastic crowd at WE Day, telling them how a student from this university could carve a path that then took her back to her home country and helped her help vulnerable children. A couple of months ago, I came down to the AMSU building here on campus to visit with students who were sleeping outside overnight, to raise awareness of the plight of the homeless, and to provide whatever support they could. In this hall today, sitting here before me, there are numerous students who have volunteered their time and talents in programs and initiatives that provide opportunities for children and youth who come from families and communities who are not as fortunate as many of us are. When I met some of these students recently and thanked them for their caring and for their generosity, they made it very clear to me that they believed that it was they who were the beneficiaries of the service that they provided, and they had benefited tremendously from the experience. It is now my hope that those students, as well as each of you, will continue to be involved in some area of service, no matter how small, whether you are going to be on campus or not. Although we live in an affluent country, we are all aware of the many inequities and injustices faced by so many of our fellow citizens. The plight of the poor and underprivileged, among whom our Aboriginal brothers and sisters are so unconscionably highly represented, should be of great concern to all of us. We must be especially aware of what we can do in our own small way to contribute to the well-being of the young, the vulnerable, the underprivileged, and the weakest members of our society. John mentioned that I work with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Winnipeg. I met a young person a few years ago who was introduced to me as someone who had been in difficulties and who had emerged from those difficulties thanks to the support of a number of caring people. What struck me right in the heart was the fact that this young person, who was then 14 years old, a few months previously had written a poem called "There Are No Windows Here." And the poem said, "There are no windows in this place for me to show my weary face. Reach out and hold my soul that at times I cannot control. What's the point of being here when being me is what I fear? Every day it's all the same, trapped again in my own pain. I cry myself to sleep, so many secrets I must keep. No one to reach out to, nobody cares. I'm trapped in the middle of distant stairs. I've prayed that I could be free of this grief that's filling me. Everywhere I turn, every bridge I burn. There are no windows in this place for me to show my face." First of all, it struck me that a child could suffer so much pain at that young age. But then I was filled with hope because there were people who cared enough to help this child emerge from that sad state. Mother Teresa used to say, "We can do no great things, only small things with great love." And if you remember the poem by Emily Dickinson, she said, "If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain." While thinking about your long-term goals, ask yourself also what you can do in the present to be of service to your community, your city, your province, your country. As Thomas Carlyle wrote, "Our main business is not to see what lies dimly in the distance, but to do what lies clearly at hand." If you are leaving this university and moving on, I urge you to stay connected and support the many wonderful social justice and other initiatives that exist on this campus. If you're going to remain on campus, continue to discover the exciting community service programs that are doing so much good, and become involved if you are not already contributing. In you, we have a huge pool of generosity, talent, and energy, and we are counting on you to be sure that we continue to build on this huge community. You will all have heard of the remarkable Canadian Jean Vanier, the founder of l'Arche, the International Network of Communities for People with Developmental Disabilities. In the final paragraph of his book on Becoming Human, which was a compilation of the 1998 CBC Massey Lectures, he writes, "Of course, all this takes time, but we are not all called to take this journey. But are we not all called to take this journey if we want to become fully human? If each of us today begins this journey, wherever we may be, in our families, our workplaces, with friends, or in places of worship or leisure, we can rise up and become agents of a new land. But," he concludes, "let us not put our sights too high. We do not have to be saviors of the world. We are simply human beings, enfolded in weakness and hope, called to change our world, one heart at a time. It is my sincere wish that each of you will be among those hearts. Wherever your path may lead you, I wish you much personal satisfaction and fulfillment. Congratulations, and enjoy your special day." Thank you.
Thank you very much, and please be seated.
Convocation provides the opportunity to come together so we can share in the achievements of people, and particularly our students, but not only our students. And for more than 135 years, the University of Manitoba has delivered life-changing learning experiences for our students, conducted world-class research, and shared knowledge and discovery to shape this province, this country, and the world. And as we're here today, you as alumni, community leaders, friends, and family of our honored guests have contributed to that success, and your presence here today makes the day even more special. We are here, as John said, to pay tribute to 2 honorary degree recipients at this luncheon, as well as to celebrate our academic community. An honorary degree is the highest distinction this university can bestow on any individual. Dr. STRINI REDDY, who's being celebrated for a stellar 42-year career as an educator, working to build peace and social justice through combating racism, received his honorary degree this morning. His Grace Archbishop James Weisgerber, who has fought for the rights of Indigenous peoples throughout his career, will receive an honorary degree at the ceremony this afternoon. And while these individuals have distinguished themselves in different ways, there is a commonality, and it's the commonality really that binds together all of the university's honorary graduates over the many years that honorary degrees have been given, and that is that these people exemplify the qualities that we value in our community, whether we see them in our faculty, our staff, alumni, friends, or students. STRINI REDDY is a University of Manitoba alumnus whose career has taken him throughout the world and all over this province. This includes South Africa's Natal province, Southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, Zambia, and London, England, as well as Manitoba. STRINI didn't start in Manitoba, he just chose it for the weather, I think. Started in warmer places, and like me, thought this was a better place to be. In Manitoba, he's had a distinguished career as an educator with a focus on educating students in northern communities. In 1985, he became the first ever chief superintendent of the Frontier School Division. In 92, he taught for Brandon University. In 93, he took the post of executive director of the Manitoba Association of School Superintendents. STRINI REDDY continues to work with community organizations to improve education and combat child poverty. Until the program ended last year, he was Manitoba coordinator for Project Love, which, with the help of Manitoba school children, annually sent upwards of 15,000 kits of basic school supplies to students in the most poverty-stricken countries in Africa. And I can tell you from personal experience that STRINI never stops. He's always lobbying for his next project. Archbishop Weisgerber was instrumental in bridging the divide between the Catholic Church in Canada and Canada's Aboriginal peoples. The divide that developed because of the abuse of Aboriginal peoples in residential schools established by the Government of Canada and operated by the Roman Catholic Church. The Archbishop worked tirelessly to bring about the meeting in Rome in April 2009 when Pope Benedict XVI met with leaders of Canada's Aboriginal peoples at the Vatican to express his sorrow at the anguish caused by the conduct of some members of the Church. Archbishop Weisgerber did not allow the reconciliation process to stop there. Since 2009, he has been a driving force in setting up the Moving Forward Together campaign to encourage fundamental and lasting change to Aboriginal communities in Canada by supporting healing and educational programs. He currently co-chairs the campaign with Dr. Phil Fontaine. In recognition of his work to amplify First Nations voices, Archbishop Weisgerber was symbolically adopted by several First Nations elders at a ceremony in 2012 that made him a brother to the First Nations community. Both these remarkable individuals have been recognized for their contributions by their peers and by the community. STRINI REDDY has received honors from a variety of local, provincial, and national organizations, and in 2000 was named a member of the Order of Manitoba. Archbishop Weisgerber was awarded the Notre Dame Medal of Honor in 1994 and the Saskatchewan Order of Merit in 2005. We'll get the opportunity to hear from them a little bit later following lunch. But I would also like to say, on behalf of the university community, to both of you, that we want to give you a little reminder of the day. And so this piece of art that's here is a limited edition print with a picture of the iconic building across the street that everyone recognizes as the center of the University of Manitoba campus. And everyone who receives an honorary degree and everyone who serves on the leadership congratulating STRINI REDDY and His Grace Archbishop James Weisgerber.
Good friends, there's about 7 or 8 pieces of paper here on which I wrote down first something that I can talk about, then something else, then something else, then something else. And after speaking to the students this morning, I said, well, I'll wait and see who's there. And I'm glad I did, because now I don't need to talk about any of these things here. But when I saw who's in this room and I only have a few minutes to speak, it gave me a couple of ideas. So first of all, thank you. I don't know how you're inviting John, but this is an amazing array of wonderful people. And so many friends here that I haven't seen in such a long time. It's such a delight and a pleasure to be in your company today. This morning I haven't seen you for many years, and it was very nice to see them. But every time I see people that I haven't seen in a long time, they look at me and they say, hey, it's good to see you. Gee, you're looking great. And then I realized that I have 3 stages to life: childhood, adulthood, and gee, you're looking great. So I'm glad I'm looking great. I want to take the opportunity in these few minutes to say a couple of things. They relate to what I said to the students this morning, but it will be more specific because of the audience here. And because I'm always prone to exploiting the presence of people who I know can bring about change. I'm going to do an unashamed exploitation of all the people in this room here today. You heard that much of my life's mission right now is working with initiatives that relate to children and youth, and specifically I'm trying to improve the quality of education and the accessibility of education and other things that we all want for our children and grandchildren to be made available for the children that I work with. Many of you in this room, I saw Steve Chipman earlier on, and Steve is doing wonderful work with the United Way. He's going to be the chair of the campaign. And I spoke to that campaign cabinet a few months ago, and I said the same thing to them. And I said the things I said to them because I know how influential the people around that table are. And they're doing great work in raising resources for those people who are doing good work. 2 things. One is that there are some examples of the kinds of things that we can do to bring about more equity. There are examples of things that we can do to work with community. I'm particularly pleased that the University of Manitoba has taken some good steps in looking to how this university can connect with community, not just surrounding this university, but recently, for example, there have been many, many initiatives where the university is hooking up with inner city communities and programs, and the people from this campus are doing amazing work. I have been associated with a program called CSI, the kids call it, Summer Learning Enrichment Program for Inner City Children, which we started in 2005 because we thought it was just an absolute prime that nothing good happens for some of these children over the summer. People said at that time it's not possible because we didn't have the money. But I can tell you now, very proudly, standing up here before you, we started with 120 kids at 2 sites in 2005. This summer, as we speak, we will have close to 1,000 kids at 15 sites. And folks like people in this room who have helped us through. Government has stepped up in a big way from being not a contributor to start with and now being the major contributor to this program. I can say that in the presence of Deputy Minister Jan Sanderson. I also would like to thank all the community folks, business people, other people in the community who stepped up to the plate and helped us with this program. But that's only one example of what can happen when people get together and try to work with the children. The children we work with would otherwise have nothing happening to them. But the point I want to make is that we then realize that we need the same kinds of things to happen in after-school programs over the winter. I had the privilege of working with a program here on this campus, in these buildings close by, over this past winter and the winter before, called CANU, C-A-N-U, the University of CANU. And we brought children from inner city schools, the same schools where we have the CSI programs, to this campus. And each of those children had 2, not 1, but 2 mentors from the university campus. From the Faculty of Education, from Investors Maxwell Center, and also from the human ecology department. The children came, did some university work, went and had some sports, came back and learned about nutrition, prepared their own meals and ate their supper here. It was an absolutely amazing program. When I talk to the children who participate in this program, I know that those children are going to be thinking of the University of Manitoba when they finish their secondary education. And the people who mentored those children said that we shouldn't thank them for what they did, because they were the major beneficiaries of that relationship with the children. So these programs can proliferate, they can multiply, but it always needs resources. So we need partners of the community and elsewhere to do this kind of work. The third thing I want to talk about very briefly, but it's a major thing that we should all be looking at. You would have heard recently when Business Council of Manitoba had its forum about 2 weeks ago. You heard that the major issue that came up at that particular forum, and rightly so, was the situation of Aboriginal children and the education of Aboriginal children. And that we should be doing something about this. But it so happens that we've been in conversation with Jim Carr and some people from Business Council. Lawrence Keeper sitting here in front of you, the Executive Director of Manitoba First Nations Education Resource Center. Unfortunately, Treaty Commissioner James Wilson isn't here today, but he's the other partner in this. I've been having conversations with the President about this for the last little while, because we need all the post-secondary institutions to be leaders in this initiative. And we want to look at the challenges of providing quality education for Aboriginal children in Aboriginal communities in the north, in the isolated communities. Because it's too easy to talk about working with people who are within close proximity of the city, and people don't want to touch the idea of bringing about major change in the quality of education for those children up north who are just as capable as my children and grandchildren and yours, but who do not have the same opportunities. So we're working on that particular project right now, and I'm asking anybody in this room who's interested in any of these things that we talked about to talk to me about it. You can get my contact information from John over here. And I'm willing to speak with anybody about how we get together as a community. This city has been an amazing place in terms of the number of people who, when they knew what was needed and what is possible, have stepped up to the plate. There's a program that's just been started here 2 years ago, which is called El Sistema, S-I-S-T-E-M-A. It's a music program. I'd like you to look that program up. It started in Venezuela about 15 or 20 years ago. And it has brought about remarkable change in the quality of life for people who live in the barrios, in the slums of Venezuela. It is now an internationally known program. We started it on a small scale here, but it breaks my heart to know that we only have about 150 kids in that program. It is a life-changing program. It brings about the kind of changes that we want to see in children's lives in this province and in this country and elsewhere. I wish I had a half an hour to talk to you about this, but I just wanted to put in those few commercials for today. I certainly hope that those of you in this room who are interested in this sort of thing will pick up the conversation wherever you are. I didn't realize that all you had to do to get a doctor was to go to that ceremony this morning. Thank you very much to all of you. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you all today. Thank you to those of you who attended here today. I want to say congratulations to my fellow recipient, Archbishop Vice Governor, and to all of you, thank you very much